Is it risky? The answer is yes. Is the reward worth it? The answer is absolutely yes.
Welcome to Carrie On, the show where we explore reinvention, self-discovery, and empowerment before, during, and after midlife. I'm your host, Carrie Murray. It's time to keep our head above the chaos and carry on. Who controls the capital controls the future. And for a very long time, the power has lived in rooms women were never invited into. But today's guest, she didn't wait for an invitation. She built her own table. Keisha Landrum-Pierre is a venture capitalist, a 3-time founder, a systems architect, and a woman reshaping how money moves in this country. As general partner at Emmeline Ventures, she's investing in women's health, wealth, and wellness. Not because it's trending, but because the system was built without women in mind. This isn't a conversation about funding. It's a conversation about power and access. Welcome, Keisha.
Ooh,
you kind of sounded like a superhero, that intro.
That was amazing. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm sitting next to a superhero.
Oh,
so,
thank
hey,
you.
It works.
Like minds see each other.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I'm so glad you could be here. I think I first met you through Catherine Gray.
That's right.
And I started a lot of podcasts with I think I met you through Catherine Gray. She's a mega connector.
Mega connector.
And you spoke at the Wealthy Women's Summit, which was my summit.
That's right.
Which we had on a yacht. And I appreciate you coming in. But first, tell me how you originally connected with Catherine.
So you're right. All roads lead to Catherine Gray. I was connected to Catherine via 360 Collective, a peer VC firm in Orange County that, to me, they speak to the way that we do VC, right? So we are very collaborative. We share opportunities. And Ann Metzger said, I know you've got a media background. I know that you believe so powerfully in the power of storytelling. You've got to meet Catherine. And I met Catherine. We had a Zoom call 30 minutes in. I said, I get what you're doing, and I want to get our firm involved.
Yeah.
The rest is history, Carrie.
For real.
Really.
Yeah.
So we're in the film. We were their last, shoot.
Oh, really?
The last shoot. And then that was it. It was a wrap. So we got it at the very, very end. And I met Catherine. I said, my goodness, this person is a force. And now we have seen what's happened.
Yeah. And did you bring in Dapper Boy? Or was that Kelly Winglet? Kelly Bryan. Yeah. Okay. So it's honestly, this power group of women.
It is.
That seek, out other women-owned businesses, women founders, women who are making change because we don't have access to capital. We have very little. It's less than 2%. How did, if I asked 10-year-old Keisha if she was going to be a venture capitalist, what would she have said if I said, what do you want to be when you grow up, Keisha?
She didn't even know what a venture capitalist was, Carrie. And that's what we want to change for girls everywhere. Mm-hmm. So my little children, they're like, Mommy, what are you doing? Are you buying companies? I'm like, that's exactly what I'm doing, right? So really opening up the possibilities so much younger, at 10 years old. Okay, well, here's a funny story, but I think you model what you see. And so when I was 10, I could see Oprah, right? And what I saw was a person who, via storytelling, connected the world. And that's actually has a lot to do with what I ultimately ended up doing. And still very much now in the work as a VC, use the story of why we're doing what we're doing to move the needle and change the world.
Wow. And did that start when you're in college and you're kind of exploring media? Did you, when you were in these rooms, find that you were one of very few women there? Or did you find it a little bit more diverse?
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, sorry.
I grew up in Orange County, California. And so the beauty of that experience is I was so comfortable always looking different than others. Mm-hmm. So much so that I began to not even pay attention to that. And I began to find commonality in other ways and threads in other ways. So yes, in all of the rooms, I never found anyone that looked like me. But I like to push back on that notion that, you don't see folks in rooms that look like you. But what about folks that think like you, right? That believe in the same things that you believe in, that want the world to look differently, just like you do. And so that was really where I would draw the connection. That connective tissue for me was like ethos connections, right? And I think that's carried on.
Yeah. Carried on. Nice.
Yes.
Nice plug.
I totally planned
Nicely done.
I might do that a few more times.
Okay, go for it. It's a great verb. So when you're starting out in venture capital and you notice the kind of inequity of access for women-founded businesses, and now we're a part of a movie showcasing it. This documentary, Show Her the Money. And we can't say no to Catherine Gray.
That's true.
You're featured in the film, and you are actually there's a great scene with you listening to pitches. What would you say if someone, after watching that, is like, I'm jazzed, I want to get into VC? What would be the first thing that you would recommend for them?
The first thing I would recommend, so as an investor, right?
And then we'll go the other side too.
So if you're interested in investing, honestly, Carrie, what I would say is that's fantastic. Congratulations. Do it, right? Get involved. How do you get involved? Find me on LinkedIn. I am very active on LinkedIn. But not just our firm. There are so many VCs that want to bring in women, especially now, Carrie, especially now. Women outperform when given capital. We just have to route the capital to them. And so the way to get involved is to truly reach out. I mean, you're creating a platform or a pipeline or a bridge, right? People are interested, but they don't know how to get started. Truly reaching out on LinkedIn is a very real thing, and it's the case for many of my peers. Because there are not so many pathways to GPs like myself, people create them, and they'll just cold ping us on LinkedIn. And we are so happy to respond because we know that the bridges do not exist. We do not have enough spaces and places for women who want to invest and unlock their capital in different ways, right, Carrie? So your financial advisor will say, oh, this VC is not on our platform, so you probably shouldn't invest. Well, the reality is most VCs that are on the Morgan Stanley and other type of platforms are not investing in women's health because it's still very much an early stage bet. And so if we want to move the needle in favor of the things that impact women, we've got to go to the firms that are not the 200 and 300 and 500 million dollar firms. They're, so that requires kind of pivoting outside of the traditional, hey, you should do this, here's your mutual fund, here are the traditional alternatives, but you should really look, where we're playing and the other, VCs that you saw.
And do people have a misconception that it's risky?
It's risky.
Yeah. How do you kind of, eliminate that risk, caution,
Excellent
fear?
question. Is it risky? The answer is yes. Is the reward worth it? The answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes, Carrie. Now, how do you de-risk or how do you mitigate the risk? And this might be a little controversial, but totally let's have this conversation. My view is limit angel checks. And so here's why. When you write a 5K, 10K, 25K check you angel into a deal, you typically are not going to manage that investment.
No.
Typically, you have a full-time job, whereas it's our firm and other firms' job to then write checks into founders and then wrap around support. So we're concentrating resources in additional to capital to ensure that these founders succeed. So the better way to get involved and the better way to de-risk your investment is to say, okay, I'll take 25 or 50K, invest it into a fund. I get exposure to 30 or 40 investments, as opposed to that same 25 or 50K gets exposed to one investment. And then we've got that type of concentration is quite risky, right? Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Why invest into one horse in the race and I can invest in 10?
Or in our case, 40, right? Which means you'll get more than that sort of, we're looking to get at least a 4x return, but VC returns are much higher than that, right? So that's what we're looking to do.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love talking about money.
So I love that. Talking about money should be fun. It should be exciting. It should be inspiring, right?
Yeah. And we need to have just as many conversations about funding as we do about finding a good daycare. What's happening in the Olympics? What's happening with my new handbag? And what's happening on Instagram? We should also be having book clubs, but let's have a money club.
Let's have a money club. And you know why we should have a money club? Because our grandmothers and mothers didn't have the opportunities that we have to build wealth. And our granddaughters and our great-granddaughters will be so grateful that we bucked the trend, that we decided, hey, wealth for our granddaughters and daughters matters just as much for our sons. I've got sons, I've got 2 sons, I've got 2 daughters. I want them all to have access to the same types of opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And to have the conversations.
It's the conversations. That's how you get access to the opportunities. If we're not talking about deals, by the way, I've got a good deal for you, Carrie.
Ooh,
but
tell
like,
me.
it's like if we're not talking about deals and we're not talking about opportunities to grow wealth, then we continue to have like dependencies elsewhere. If we're not building our own and growing
there's no
and
financial
expanding,
freedom with that
that's right.
if we're reliant on something
That's
else
right.
to bring in our funding and just how we pay the bills. And
That's right.
The future cast of building wealth today, it's like future. The
That's
next
right.
generation, they're going to have this pocket of money, but
That's
they're
right.
also going to have conversations, and they're going to witness women
That's
having
right.
conversations about it.
And it changes with us. It changes with what you're doing
Yeah.
right now, Carrie.
Before we jump back in, quick story. For 10 years, my company was called BRA Network, Business Relationship Alliance. Support was literally my brand. So when I tell you I'm picky about bras, I mean it. And I'm obsessed with Handful. It lifts without wires, flatters without flattening, and feels good all day, not just for those 30-second Instagram posts. I wear it to yoga, I wear it to filming, I wear it when I need to feel pulled together but comfortable. It's the kind of support that doesn't squeeze you into somebody else's shape. Use code Carrie On at handful.com. Support and make it intentional. Now back to the show.
Having the conversation. We're having the conversation. I have the conversation with my kids, right? And I think, but not just with my kids, with my nieces, with my cousins, like we should, with my community. And I think making it normal to have these types of conversations is what's going to truly, and no small, like I mean, transform, right? Generations, starting with us. We'll feel it. And then it will have a beautiful ripple effect.
Absolutely, especially if what we're investing in also benefits women's health, wealth, and well-being, right? We want to find these little horses that we were talking about that are like, oh, I've got a great perimenopausal gummy but I'm just looking for capital.
That's right.
Or I got a great solution to, PCOS, but I just need the capital.
That's right.
And you know what I mean? Like those, especially women's health. Our government is constantly telling us there are states eliminating our rights and our access to health care.
I know.
We need these innovators. We need these founders so desperately.
Yes, you're just drawing such an important connection between our dollars and our health, right? Mm-hmm. If a woman, and I've met a brilliant woman who's focusing on endometriosis, PCOS. Do you know anyone with endo?
Yes.
I know many women with, I don't believe there's a woman in this country that doesn't know another woman who has endo, PCOS or something. It is a very serious challenge. It takes at least 7 years to diagnose. So we're talking about women dealing with painful, unnecessary pain.
Living in pain, chronic pain. Yeah.
So, living, like waking up with pain, walking to get tea or coffee with pain, just a sort of perpetual pain that you're just living with, that you don't have to carry. Mm-hmm. And if we put dollars into the woman who's got the solution, I met her yesterday, right? And she's got the solution. She's worked with 2,000 women. They have all had incredible outcomes. And I'm like, where have you been all my life? Mm-hmm. When I'm speaking with her, I'm thinking to myself, she's had such a challenge raising capital. But if we take women and we pull together and we put the capital in her, into what she's building, then we'll buy what she's building. And so that it will succeed and it will scale. But we've got to get it to market. And quite frankly, it's going to be us, Carrie, that gets the capital into these types of solutions. Now, of course, once she gets to Series A and, onward where she's got 10 million in ARR, then of course other folks will look. But this, at the early stage, she needs backers like us.
Yeah.
She needs investors like us to really put that capital into her. And it's a thought that I have had recently. I've been reflecting on this, Carrie. You hear this all the time. Women control 80% of purchasing power. Mm-hmm. We're directing where the capital goes, right? But we typically do not invest, and we typically do not own the businesses where we're spending. That purchasing power that we have, they're typically not businesses that we own or that we've built. And that's what we want to change. We want to do more than just spend and purchase. We want to invest, because if we can invest, then what we're actually spending, we're buying menopause solutions or perimenopause solutions or great gummies or whatever the case might be. Whatever it is, it can't get to market for us to purchase it unless we're investing, right?
Yes.
And that's such a big deal. Like, we need to invest so that we can, when we do execute against our 80% purchasing power in this country, that's purchasing the things that we own, that we've built, and that actually help and improve our lives.
Yeah.
Right?
I think a lot of, capitalism and commercialism is telling us what we need.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. Do I really need this? And who told me that? It's some old white men in a tower who created this and said, we need to sell 5,000 gadgets or whatever it is so I can make my money back. But what if we pause and say, like you said, tell me the story around why she created something to solve and help support women with endometriosis. I bet she either has it or she knows someone who does or is absolutely connected to it, because that's how we build things. Yes.
That's right.
We tell the story of, like, I've been living with this and I came up with a solution, because I can't even imagine how many doctors she's probably seen that blew her off.
That's right.
Medical gaslighting. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
But, so.
You're totally right.
Coming from the other side, now the founder side, for example, this woman, if you're a founder and you got a great solution for something like this, what would you recommend to that founder to get into rooms with you?
So, I mean, Emmeline Ventures is actively deploying. I might be setting myself up for an insane amount of inbound, which is not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. We're actively deploying, Carrie. And so what that means is we're actively writing checks. We're looking to close out and finish deploying out of this fund. And so what that means is you should also reach out to us. I mentioned LinkedIn. I mean it. We're very active. We actually have a team member who focuses on LinkedIn because it's such a, in my view, magical place, because it's just like the barriers that used to exist to get to someone are gone.
Yeah.
Right? If they actually reply.
Right.
On LinkedIn.
Right.
We do.
Yeah.
So reach out, truly.
And honestly, mention Carrie On.
When you're mention Carrie On.
Then she'll know it's not spam.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'll tell you a funny story. So my name is Keisha Landrum-Pierre, and some bot somewhere decided that my name was La. So it's very easy for me to know when it's spam, because my LinkedIn messages will say, "Hey, La." And I'm like, okay, well, there you go. That's spam. So if you actually just, send me a message with my name, that's like, then I know it's not spam.
Right.
Truly. Yeah. It's like the funniest thing, but this bot has made my life so easy because I know when it's a bot.
Yeah. Kelly, what Kelly does is she knows the bots pick up Kellyanne. She never goes by Kellyanne, but when she gets Dear Kellyanne, I saw it, she's like, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't see anything.
Yeah.
So that's funny. So mine is it's her full first name, and mine is half of my name.
Gotcha.
So that's really funny.
All right. So reaching out to you is
LinkedIn.
Now, obviously, women have a lot of imposter syndrome. They don't feel they're ready. They suffer from perfectionism, and they're going to be nervous about pitching you. They're going to think, do they need to have a deck? Do they how are you? They got to get over that hurdle. How would you put them at ease?
Carrie, that's the best question of the day.
Thank you.
Of the year. Well, here's why I'm saying this. I heard a founder, and she's pitching me, and I'm listening to her talk about what she's building. I'm thinking to myself, does she not recognize how big of a deal what she's doing is? And she's so concerned and scared and fidgety. And I said to myself, we need to have a separate session for all women to be reminded that there's no reason to have imposter syndrome. Your grandmother, your great-grandmother, they have, especially the women who fought for women to be able to vote, they want you here. Mm-hmm. You deserve to be here because they did everything that they could for you to be able to build a business that even if they thought about, there was no way in a million years that she could have built it. Let's imagine, a woman had a brilliant endometriosis solution. I don't even know that endo exists.
In the 80s,
that's
for
right.
example.
In the 80s or even the 70s or the 60s. Where's she going to go get money to build that? Mm-hmm. It's an idea that just gets deferred. There's no capital systems or ecosystems to support her ability to do it, Carrie. She wants you to be here. Your grandmother, your mother, your great-grandmother, she fought for you to be in this room, and the last thing you should feel is imposter syndrome. If anything,
get it.
You should feel hey, this is all of my aunties, and they all want me to be here, and I'm here for them, and for all the my future daughters, and on, to know that they can. Because we're also history, right?
Yes.
Right? So for your littles, who are not so little, but they say, my mom, I'm probably not going to say this, I don't know if we
can cut this.
Okay. But, she is a superhero, and she does all of these things. that's all processing for them. And then they talk to their kids about it. Like,
Yeah.
who we are is we're a living legacy. So we should not feel any imposter syndrome. Are you kidding?
Mm-hmm. Get in there. Get in the room. Send the LinkedIn.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there. And, I'm interested in your thoughts about this, Carrie, when it comes to accelerators. Like, I do think before you go to a VC, it does make sense if you do feel that this is entirely new space for you to talk to an accelerator or like work with an accelerator, because they do work on the storytelling. Yes. Mm-hmm. They work on making sure that you feel that deck and the confidence to tell your story. You need a deck, you need a data room. Those things are standard. You want to make sure that you can tell your story both verbally and elegantly via materials. Mm-hmm. That's true. You want to be able to do that. The reality is no one's going to ask for a deck if you can't properly tell the story of what you're building. So it starts with your story.
Okay.
Period.
All right.
Right? If you say hey, look, you should tell me about what you're doing. And I'm like, well, I've got this like early stage VC that's like, it's like, okay, huh?
Yeah.
But if I say I run an early stage venture capital firm that focuses on female founders who are building solutions that help women manage their health, build their wealth, and live in a cleaner, safer world. You're like, I got it.
Okay. Get me my checkbook.
Right. It's like, it's clear as day. That's what I want for founders. Mm-hmm. And then I think that'll help ease some of the imposter syndrome, but I do wonder, I'm not sure that I have the answer, Carrie, but I do wonder if accelerators help.
Are effective. What I've seen, any woman seeking anything they've never done before needs community.
Yeah.
Needs to see someone, needs to see someone that is going through it with them.
Yes.
But also is looking for guidance, right? So I think accelerators can be a crutch, or they can be the teacher that's going to push you to the next thing. So to me, it's like, you want to learn the thing, or do you want to just hear about the thing?
Yeah.
And then that's what's going to help build your confidence. And don't get me wrong, there are some shady coaches, accelerators out that are taking advantage.
And I've seen too many of them, Carrie.
As have I.
Yeah.
As have I. And guess where they're also hanging out? LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
They're the bots. They're the ones going, hey, la. They are, but it's unfortunate, but I agree. I think if there's like some step before I go to VC,
I think there's a step before,
and then get yourself ready, confident. But you're right, developing that story of why we've developed this product, why we've developed this, and how is it going to have the long-term effect of it. And here's some data. Let me throw in some numbers so you could see the long-term effect of it. Then you're far more likely to be confident, get success, get the yes, and get the check.
Because we want to get the check. Yeah, I think this is a thought that I think is really important for women in particular who are building. Oftentimes they're building from lived experience. So it's like, I saw this thing, I couldn't believe that this happened, and I started to build a solution for myself, and then realized there are a host of women who have similar experiences, and I would love for no other woman in the world to have this, experience that I've had. But they oftentimes do not necessarily have like the business acumen or the understanding of that venture requires a venture scalable business, what that means. And so I do believe that the big takeaway from our conversation is community, right? So whether it's found in an accelerator, great, but it could be found elsewhere. And I think finding that community is critical so that you don't want to learn when you're pitching a VC. That's not the space. That's not when you want to learn. You want to get the check. You want them to be so impressed with you that they're going to open up their network to you and ensure you succeed. And so you want to do that learning before.
And that's, I really think, is what we showcase in the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like we really showcase a group of women coming together behind those 5 brands that we followed.
Yep, that's great.
Which I think is really, really powerful.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
It also, they're all a very diverse group of women. All the products were different. One was a skincare line, one was a bra, one is clothing, one is wine, but they all are solving a problem. Yeah. They're all female founded and they're all backed by women VC.
And you know what's so great about what you're saying, Carrie? When you watch the film, you see an incredible group of women and it looks like there's this like family or this community. But here's what's amazing, and you know this. Off the camera, we are a family, and it's like we're a community.
Look at you right now in my home.
I know. Well, and also, if I can say this, right, I had like a loss in my family, and you just sent me the kindest notes, and I appreciate them, and we're not going to say too much more so that I can.
It's okay.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like it's so what you see on film and this community that you talk about. We're a community off the screen as well.
Yeah, we are.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I had a friend of a friend move to Spain, right? They're thinking about moving to Spain.
Yeah.
Well, Cherie's in Vicky,
perfect, right.
I literally send her a message. I have a friend. You're going to like them. I promise. Would you mind? Sure. And the next thing I know, I get a selfie of the four of them together in Spain.
Amazing.
And it's like, it would have never come if it didn't come from this community and this group of women that continue to show up for each other. We really are a couple badasses.
Yeah,
I mean, this whole group, we really have seen so much advancement from all of us, I feel like, since we started this project.
Right. That's why I said the rest is history early on, because I knew that Catherine was onto something, but I didn't realize that this would transform even our firm.
So I really feel like this community has come together as a result of Catherine Gray and Show Her the Money and all the things. How can we continue to show up, get to know you, get to know what you want, and if anybody has venture capital questions, where they want to invest, where do they find you and all the things?
So, I mean, can I just share my email address?
Absolutely,
Carrie?
and I'll put it in the show notes and the whole thing. Yeah. So if
you've
got a woman who's got a great idea or who's ready to pitch, should she email you?
Well, so if she's ready to pitch, we actually have a really great system. So you just go to emmelineventures.vc and click Pitch Us. Myself and my partner, we get the pitches. And anything that fits within that women's health vertical, as long as they've submitted their materials, Carrie, we look at it very closely. So that's how you get like your business to us. For women who are looking to invest, also reach out via Pitch Us, but also just reach out via LinkedIn. Because if there's anything that we want to shift, it's having more women writing checks into the solutions that you and I know need to exist in the world.
Yeah.
So that we can fund the abundance of incredible women that we have access to via our pipeline.
And that are solving some major issues right now that we are facing, that really are threatening us as
women,
a gender.
our bodies, and the solutions exist. Mm-hmm. That's the part that is mind-blowing to me. And the other part that's mind-blowing is I'm saying, but wait, why didn't this already exist? Mm-hmm. Capital is the reason. It goes back to what we said, Carrie. Capital is the reason that it doesn't exist. And that's what we're changing.
All right. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here and getting us jazzed about money. I love talking about money. And I agree. We should have more money clubs instead of book clubs.
Money clubs. Mm-hmm. I'll join your money club.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being my guest. I really appreciate you coming in. Anyone who has questions about venture capital, obviously go see the movie Show Her the Money.
Right.
And like and subscribe to this podcast because we talk about money all the time. And again, reach out to Keisha on LinkedIn. We'll put it in the show notes.
Thank you.
If you're a founder or a funder. Until then, everybody keep your head above the chaos and carry on. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Carry On. Be sure to find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And as always, like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. And don't forget to keep your head above the chaos and carry on.